Welcome to Mind Your Business. I am Ahmed Duncan, founder of the Fabulous Woman Network. I love to help others in their personal development journey through training, coaching, mentoring, events, and writing. Mind Your Business is our weekly podcast where we get to share enriching content to help Africans, especially women, create wealth and impact people. Mind Your Business is our free resources, and actually, one of them, we have several. But if you prefer to work with me one on one as your coach or trainer, please go to amadankan.com/store to book a discovery call with me. This is how we start to work together, and you'll find the link in the caption. Now, recently I started a series called Understanding the Times. Based on all that's happening around the world, I thought let's use Dr. Margaret Swarbrick's 8 dimensions of wellness to look at the different areas that we need to focus on in these times in terms of taking care of them. So over the past 3 weeks, we've covered taking care of your spiritual, physical, and then now, I think, we've done spiritual, physical, emotional wellness in the last few weeks, and all the episodes are right here on our YouTube channel where you're listening, so you can go and listen just in case you missed them. This week, I am interviewing a fabulous friend of mine called Dr. Evans Duah. I call him Dr. Wealth because of the book he wrote, and he speaks on wealth, and he's doing well personally as well. So he's an inspiration. He's been a guest before on Mind Your Business earlier this year. It was amazing. He also spoke at our conference, IFAB 2022. That's the International Fabulous Women's Conference. And he's such an amazing person. Also, recently, he was on Mandela Washington Fellowship, which I had also earlier been on. And he went to the same school that I did, which is Northwestern in Evanston, close to Chicago in the USA. So he's doing very well, and I'm so happy to have him. Let me just read a bit about him, apart from what the experience I have shared about him. So he's a French and English trained business expert. He's worked in France, Morocco, currently in Ghana, and he started his career in business management consultancy and continued as an award-winning professional banker. Yeah, he's been in the game for a long time. Currently, he lectures at AAMUSTED. Can you believe the first time I mentioned it, I was like, AAMUSTED. AAMUSTED, and he's also the CEO of Xtart Biz. He's such an amazing consultant, and he's such a great person to know, not just about finance, but also about your work with God and a few other things. He's really amazing, a father of wonderful children and husband to a wonderful doctor. So, ladies, gentlemen, please grab your cuppa as usual and let's soak in this interview with Dr. Evans Duah, aka Dr. Wealth. Dr. Evans Duah, aka Dr. Wealth. I'm the only one.
Yes.
Because of the book you wrote.
And it seems it has come to stay, actually.
Oh, yes, it has. Very soon, everyone else will call you that.
That's calling, yes. When I went to Accra for a program, some people were calling me that already, and I was like, okay.
Oh my goodness. I've been seeing your post. Congratulations on Mandela Washington Fellowship. And you went to the best school in the world. No,
exactly.
How was the experience there?
I think probably I should go back again. It's literally one of the best literally the best I've been to. Literally.
I know. And isn't the campus so beautiful?
I mean, the green nature of it. They have both the old structures and it's classic buildings, the new structures. So you have everything. You have everything. A bit of the old legacy and the new ones is fantastic.
I'm just picturing. Did you eat at Sergeant's too? Sergeant's Hall?
So Sergeant was the best. I don't know if you did 2 campuses too. We did we did the city campus, and then we did Evanston. So we did Chicago
no, we
and
were
Evanston.
only at Evanston.
Okay, so we were in the city campus. We did almost like 10 days there. And the place was like a big hotel and everything. And then when we moved to Evanston, it was also amazing. But I think the best is the faculty. For me, it's the faculty.
Yeah.
They are not traditional. They are focused on the impact. They are focused on practicality. Nothing too theoretical. Just, you leave the room and you know that you've learned a lot. You've learned so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, God.
It's a great experience.
Bless the American Embassy and all these, they are amazing fellowships.
Amen.
Yeah. Anyway, now you're back home and I'm sure you're seeing what's happening, and you are a global financial and business expert. What are you noticing in these times?
So the thing is that we are not in normal times. I think we all need to acknowledge it. And it's not just local, it's also international. Things are not the same. So all of us need to, as much as possible, to understand that we may have to start adapting our lives to the realities around us. This is no fault of anyone. This is not, sometimes even due to any mismanagement you've done. It's not something it's just something that is beyond you, and it's from the external environment around you. And some of these things, we call it environmental scan. So the political environment has its own influence, the economic has its own social, technological, and all that. But the most important thing is that this economic crunch is affecting everybody. So Europeans are facing it, Americans are facing it, Asians are facing it. Africans are facing, all of us are facing it. So we need to understand that we are not in normal times. And this is post-pandemic. And then there's Ukraine-Russian war. So we need to understand that the times are not the same.
Yeah. And we are looking at wellness here. And the aspect of wellness we are looking at is financial. And I'm wondering, what does financial wellness mean to you?
For me, I always tell people that the first thing you need to understand, if you want to understand anything about finances, look at the body. Okay, so let's assume that if I am here, Evans, and no matter how healthy I am, I do not have enough blood running through my body, then I'm in trouble. So no matter how good my eye is, no matter how good my heart is, no matter how good my lungs, kidneys, everything, I need blood in my system to keep me. That's how come if there's a little cut and I'm actually bleeding and I do not stop the bleeding, it could actually cause my death, and you can bleed to death. The same thing happens with our financial wellness, and blood is more like cash flow. You need to understand the concept of cash flow. Once money is not flowing to you and money is only leaving you, then you are in trouble. You'll be bleeding. And that is the current situation where we find ourselves. People have a little inflow into their lives with a lot of outflows going out. And this is not anything that they have done wrong. It is due to inflation, due to the fluctuation nature of the Forex, and due to the hikes in almost everything around us. So if you needed 5,000 Ghana cedis to keep you going for a week to a month, now you may need 10,000 depending on you. Some will need 1,000, 2,000, and so on and so forth. I just dropped my kids, and on my way back, there was a little traffic, and there was a woman saying that, hey, and when I translate that, she was like, what would the poor people, what would we do in times like this? It actually hits me so hard. And I think she went to buy something and said, the things I wanted, and I translate from Church English, the things that I wanted to buy, I could pick only one. And do I need three? The same money can buy one. These are realities, not due to anybody in UK's fault or US or Ghana, but it is a reality. And we need to now start looking at it from two angles. The first angle is that if I have a lot of blood coming out, what do I do? How do I stop it? So we need to look at how we can minimize our expenditure. The other side is that, is there ways at this time we can also increase our income flows, our cash inflows? So these are the two components we need to look at. So financial wellness, even if I go into the integrity of it and the definition of it and all that, we have to just make it a bit of comparing it to that of blood in the human body. And once we understand it from that way, we understand cash flow helps. So please make sure that there's always blood, there's always cash flow into you. And I think as we go on with the conversation, we'll talk a bit about the cash inflows, the outflows, some of the mechanisms and things we can do.
I really like how you use this analogy of the blood. Like it makes it easy to really understand.
Exactly.
There's a cut, it's going out. And I love it. I love it. You are amazing. No wonder you're a lecturer. All right. So yes, you've explained what it means to be financially well, to have blood, constantly flowing, not only going out, but coming in. And I wonder, we will go, I would let you share some tips to help us. But I'm wondering, you've already talked about the fact that the same money that used to buy one or two can now buy one. Like my greatest example is air tickets, or how do you call it, air ticket, whatever. Like it has more than doubled, and it was like a joke to me when I was saying that. Yeah, but I'm also wondering, is there any silver lining in this? Like, is there any positive to take advantage of? For instance, I was speaking to a mate. So there's this program, the CEO program I'm on, and this person was saying how in his industry, he's a builder, he's a contractor, how iron rods, for instance, the prices, like people invested in it are making money. And I'm like, okay, so there are opportunities that we are in.
Exactly.
So what do you think? What are some of the opportunities in these times?
So in investment, I always talk about investment because it helps. And we talk about whenever there is a downturn, there would always be an upturn. So in life, we work in duality. There is day and there is night. There is life and then there's death. So the fact of the matter is that nothing lasts forever. There'll be a moment of abundance. There'll be a moment of scarcity. So whenever you find yourself in a downturn, there is always going to be an upturn. It cannot continue like that. So the first most important thing is that in this downturn, how can I profit from it? So I, for example, have lost quite a lot of money in some of the businesses that I do. And when I say a lot, it's not small money, quite a lot of money that can literally cripple everything that you've done. Now, you do not, this is the first, so the first tip I'm giving here is that people who do not have a bit of abundance mentality have an issue with the sunk cost syndrome. So they look at the fact that they are losing money, they are bleeding. But this is the whole thing. When you start losing money, when you start bleeding, there are certain businesses I have advised them to close shop. A business I've run for 7 years, I have closed shop. The reason why I've closed shop is that the business would get me indebted the more and more and more because I have a supplies credit line that works for me from outside. So I receive the goods. So for example, around January, I receive goods. And these goods are around 6 to 7 cedis to $1. I come back from the States and I'm seeing 13, 14, and around 15. It has doubled itself. This is over 100% increase. Now, the sad truth is that my profit margin is between 10 to 15%. If I'm making 100% loss by Forex alone, then there's no need to do this business. So the earlier I close shop, the better for me. So sometimes you've made losses. You don't know how you're even going to survive. My first advice is that you need to learn to close certain businesses if you have to. At the same time, there's something we call in business pivots. So pivot is where you have your main business. You can temporarily close it. So my business has closed shop does not mean I've actually stopped business. No, I've just closed shop because the season is not right for that business. So you look for a pivot on the other side. So this business is about importation and I'm being affected by Forex. So now I look at the pivot, which is export, which now means that I am getting the other side of the equation. It means that I'll pick CDs and I'll get Forex. So what happens here is that people should now understand that the first thing is that if you are making too much losses, you may have to close certain shops for now temporarily and now move into businesses that can favor you. Anything that has to do with service now may not cost you more. Service businesses now is a good time to go into service business. If you have a lot of liquid now, people think buying forex and keeping. I don't subscribe to it because it worsens our situation for us. You may gain temporarily, but you contribute to the economic woes. So I don't advise people to keep forex. I don't have any forex myself. I don't keep anything apart from the dollars or euros when I travel that remain in my pocket. I keep for the next travel. I don't keep anything. The best you can do now is that if you had bought oil, even thousands of oil, and kept in a small garage in your home, today that oil is almost 150% up. So I rather advise people, you can go into commodities at this time, but not a quick buy and sell. It's rather buying the stocks, keeping it for a while, and releasing it or selling it at the appropriate time. It's not about hoarding, but it's about having the intrinsic value of your money kept for you.
Yeah.
So keeping stocks at this time, for even those who want to do a side hustle, is not really bad at all. And there are so many examples, like the iron rods that you gave. I have a friend who could literally make almost, he bought canned tin tomatoes. He bought it at 3 million Ghana cedis. Quite a lot of it. Is a rich guy, and was able to sell it within 2 months, almost 6.5 million Ghana cedis. This guy is actually making about 3.5 million of just these commodities. So at this time, all that I'll just say is that you need to understand the economy, you need to understand the system, but you need to watch the risk that you are taking. So first thing that I will advise anybody to do, for most middle class people who don't want to take a risk, is first to understand that if I used to pay for a full package for DSTV, and maybe I don't watch it, maybe I have to look at it. If I used to pay for internet, and the internet, I use it for Netflix and other things, maybe I have to cut it. Maybe you have a Netflix, you have Amazon Prime, you have this, you may have to cut some of them down. Some few things that you used to do, where you used to buy yourself a shoe every week, whatever, you may have to cut them and now focus on priorities, necessities, and then you need to be liquid. So at this moment, one advice I give anybody is try to be very liquid. So those who are listening on this call, you have a lot of liquid. This is the time to buy houses, because people are actually going to sell off their houses. People are going to sell their lands. People are going to sell their cars. People are going to sell a lot of things. So you can actually make a lot of gains now. So I always tell people, avoid impulse buying. So for example, I plan to buy iPhone 13 Pro Max, for example. So the thing that I don't deny myself is some of these gadgets that help with our lives. So for example, I decided to buy iPhone 13 Pro Max because iPhone 14 is coming. I don't rush to buy it. I have a budget for it. I keep it there. What I do is that I look out for the 3 months gap I have, the best window opportunity. So then there's this guy who comes from the US, and he comes to Ghana and needs money. He comes with brand new iPhone. And then everybody's selling it over 15,000, 16,000. And I get it way, way, way cheaper, almost 40%, 50% less than the market. And so what I advise people to do on major purchases, if you are now buying a car, you're buying those things, be liquid at this moment. And then don't say that I'm buying something in a week. Anything that you're buying, take a month or two, look for the opportunities around you before you make payment for it. So these are some of the quick tidbits I can give. And then for in terms of increasing your revenue, I think it is high time quite a number of people understood that we need to understand the global village we find ourselves and start learning how to monetize. Facebook has started monetizing Reels. You don't even need to have a page. You can have just your normal Facebook account, Instagram account. Just post some few videos, you never know. You can go and become an Amazon affiliate, for example, which myself, I am just registered this week, but I've already told some people, but I had not done it because I wasn't too much into videos online, which I'm now starting to do, by the way. So you can have it, and for example, you can have this airport case, and then you say, oh, this is an airport case, is water resistant, is this and that, and so on and so forth. Once you put a link as an Amazon affiliate in your video under it, and somebody clicks on it, you get that referral thing and get a host. So we can look at other means, YouTube and other things that can help. But so these are not normal times. So anywhere you can get good money, which is legal, I think you should look at it.
Yeah. I mean, the Amazon link affiliate thing has been very beneficial. Remember recently, I needed cash. Then I remembered, I have some money that Amazon has sent. Just yeah, so I've written a lot of notes. I mean, so many things, I've learned from the fact that, okay, you decided this is not the season to keep this particular business. Let me put it on hold. You've talked about pivoting. You've talked about constraint, providing services, keeping stock, and then especially understanding the times. So watching and understanding. Don't just stay back and, continue as if life is the way it's always been. Understand and watch the risks. You talked about reducing waste, which is very important, and then prioritizing being liquid. And when you said, this is a time to buy a house and the cows, just thinking about my car, that's on my vision board. I actually dreamt about it. And you're talking about it like me. God, I can smell that already. The funny thing is, I'm not even into cars. I don't even care when I'm driving. All I want is to get from one place to the other.
Exactly. So if, for cars, for example, I think for flashy cars, maybe we should all pause with it for now. So I think we should stick with your style, where we are concerned about getting from one place to the other. And once you have that utility, is good. But anything that is income generated, a house can be very good for you at this time. A land can be very good for you at this time. Anything that can be income generated. Maybe let me add this quickly. This is also time to take CD denominated loans. A lot of people think loans are bad, but actually it's the opposite. Let me give you an example. That though we are all bleeding, because there's a lot of blood leaving us in terms of the cash flow analogy that I just gave, we are actually at a point where the banks are actually bleeding more. They cannot increase their rates beyond a certain threshold because it will not be attractive. So they are still keeping it at a certain commercial rate that would seem attractive for you. If you look at the rates they are using and the reducing balance rate of some of these banks, then taking monies from them and putting it into income generating ventures, you would rather even gain more. So if you are buying, and this thing, I think, you and I talked about it already. If you're buying a house, for example, you don't need to go for any dollar denominated. So if you're buying a mortgage, and myself, I'm considering it, as you go for these real estate people, they are selling to you in dollars. No problem at all. Go to your bank, take the loan in cedis, pay them in CD equivalent as at today, and come back to have your interest. And mathematically speaking, when you take a mortgage, the money you take, let's say you took $1 million, by the time you are done paying in 20 years, you'd have paid almost 3 times that money. It looks outrageous, it looks ridiculous, but I'll be honest with you. In 2007, I put just 50,000 Ghana cedis through an M fund and EPAC, a data bank, I think so. And then recently, I made one of my mentees who was working there to check for me. The money had literally not just increased by 100, not increased by 200, not increased by 1,000. Actually, I don't want to say it on record. It was crazy. Right? And then I realized that, whoa. Then I checked my Provident Fund when I was leaving Société Générale and moving into academia. The money I left there, and I didn't touch it. And how much that money has actually doubled, tripled, looking at my contribution and how much I've earned over this period. Then I realized that, okay, even if some of us are to take loans and put into some of these places, mathematically, they are more beneficial than not taking the loan at all. So if you are listening and you're not taking any loan on your books, due to the current economic situation, loan is not bad then at all. By the way, I'm not in banking again, so I'm not advertising loans for the bank, so I'm out of banking. So there's not an advertisement. So the thing is that there is a bad loan and there's a good loan. The bad loan is where you buy it and you take it into things that would bring you extra costs. It's like going to buy a flashy car, just going to buy some flashy, going for a vacation that is too much at this time. That wouldn't bring you a lot of things. Vacations are good, you need to, but always do it at the expense of a profit you've made. Always do it at the expense, not with your capital. So I always tell people, you should know the difference between a seed and a harvest. You don't enjoy your seed. You plant your seed. You only enjoy from your harvest. And these are some of the nuggets at this time we should know in our spending. The money I hold, is it a seed or is it a harvest? If it is a harvest, you can go for your flashy car your iPhone, whatever. You can go for your vacation. But if it is a seed, then you have to deny yourself to plant it, wait for it, and then out of the harvest, you can do what you have to do.
Fantastic tips. Wow. I know Geneva, you have a conference in Geneva and it's waiting, so I won't keep you, but I promise that these things that you shared, even these, we will use them to God's glory and we'll all make you proud wherever you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Before I let you go, I've got a couple of questions that I'll ask, so I'll start the sentence and then you finish it for me.
Okay.
The first one is, I know you've answered these already, but your answers are the same. If I could advise my younger self in one short sentence, I would say...
I think my answers will be different now.
Sure. Go ahead.
So my younger self, I'll tell him that go for everything you want to and go for it very fast. Very fast. Any good thing I dream of, my younger self, I'll tell him go for it. And go for it very fast. Don't think twice. Any good thing, go for it. And go for it very fast. Don't have a double-mindedness in anything.
Fabulous. And the second one is, I am fabulous because...
I'm fabulous because I believe in the beauty of tomorrow.
Fantastic. And then the final one, is one book that has greatly helped me in business is...
I think the richest man in Babylon. Yeah.
I love that book too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making time for us. Thank you so much. And I wish you the very best as you moderate this session for this conference in Geneva.
Thank you so much, Abba. Thank you so much.
And I will add your email address. I know that people always like to reach out to you after a conversation. So I'll add your email address so those who are interested in learning more from you and tapping into your wisdom will reach out, okay?
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a nice day. Regards to the family.
I will. Thank you. Same to yours.
Okay. Bye. Well, how was it? Tell me in the comments. I have just I've taken this plenty notes, as we say in Ghana, plenty. I wrote a lot. Some of them, thank God, I'm practicing. A few of them I need to really consider. And I mean, he said a number of things. What spoke to you? Share in the comments with me. I already gave feedback of the different things I wrote on. I'm not going to go through that again. I hope this episode has been a blessing to you. Listen, we are fabulous children of God. I loved it when you mentioned abundance. We need that kind of abundance mentality to know that actually the fact that we are bleeding doesn't mean, oh my God, we are losing everything. There is more. There is more where that came from. And we have the resources and we have the God and everything to be able to create more wealth so that we can impact people, we can live meaningful lives and legacies to the glory of God. I hope this has been of value to you. Please share in the comments. Don't forget. And please share this with someone else. Share this video and let it be a blessing onto someone else. And if you need to reach out to Dr. Wealth, as I call him, I am sharing his email in the caption as well so that you can reach out and have a conversation. Until God willing, next week for another episode of Mind Your Business. It's Ta Toodles. Bye.